they've taken a hold of college football. They've done a tremendous job. That's what David Pollack said about the Georgia Bulldogs. And they're winning 2 national championships. I don't really know how anyone could disagree. If I'm not mistaken, he said that right in front of Nick Saban, who didn't correct him a few months later. And it's not out of the question these guys win three or, win 3 of 4 by winning it in 24. There's so much that Georgia is doing correctly right now in terms of adding depth, in terms of development of players, that I don't right now know who's in their way except the usual suspects, and they are significant suspects. You've got Alabama, you've got Ohio State and Michigan, both who are better than they've been in the past, to be honest with you, in many ways. We've seen the rise of Michigan. That's really mattered, particularly in the Big Ten. They have snatched the life out of Ohio State more than once. But those programs are not quite where they need to be to knock Georgia off their throne. If they were, they'd be winning the games, these straight up games. I mean, Georgia totally outclassed Michigan in 2021. I mean, that was a game that I wrote about this in Dawg Post. The Georgia coaches were trying to get the attention of the players on the team. The last time they had played, they got their skulls kicked in by Alabama. A game where they didn't play well and so forth. And Alabama played well, but they didn't play. They were losing 10-0. So, you're trying to get the attention of the players on the team and the program who are guys that have, been told how great they were for however long, and then they get their brains beat in. They had to get a hold of them heading in that Michigan game, and they did. But there was no. I don't want to get too deep into details because sometimes I think it gives away who I talk to around the way. But I think the coaching staff was concerned going into that Michigan game. I don't think the players were. So they destroy Michigan. It was a game where this is one of the few times that Georgia's played a neutral site game where they were outnumbered. We haven't seen that a lot. There's a lot of road games Georgia's not outnumbered. So that was the case, but Michigan never got momentum in any way. Not in any way. Go back and watch that game. That game was more competitive than I think people want to remember it being. But then the win over Alabama and just the way in which they just stomped everybody in 2022 was amazing. If you pick up Double Dogs today, you'll get our 2023 preview for free. The 2023 preview is available. You can get it down below. Red Zone is the only retail place that has it, so you can pick it up with Scott and Mindy. Make sure you're asking them where you can get all your game day gear for this coming season. There's a lot of stuff in it here about look, if you're not an insider, maybe this isn't the magazine for you. But if you are, then you're missing out. It's something really nice to read when you're trying to get away from your really loud children or in-laws. Not that I would know. But David's right. When you talk about this situation, they've taken a hold of college football. They've done an unbelievable job. So that David grew up at, 15 minutes from where I did and played at Georgia and understands and has seen everything. He knows what some of it, he's saying out loud what many of us have known for a long time. Georgia should be a power. They should. They should win national championships. It matters in a way that I don't know if it matters like this at Florida anymore. I think if they start winning, it will. But even think about the Georgia fans the thousands of them that went to the Oklahoma State game in 2009 or the Arizona State game in 2008. That's different, but it was in Arizona. This matters to Georgia in a cultural way that the program has never totally fulfilled. It's fulfilled it in many ways. I mean, I think going down to Jacksonville and winning, and there's 40,000 Georgia fans down there, speaks to the power of Georgia. Just that alone. But right now, and this is what happens when you win championships, I think, generally speaking, because you've seen this at LSU, certainly have seen it at Alabama. The coalescing, if that's the right word, the combination of the passion of a fan base and their program winning in a huge way sets off this sort of chain reaction where it's hard to rein it back in after the fact, and it's hard to catch that high again. I think if you're at Nebraska, you know what I'm talking about, because Nebraska loves the Corn Husk. I've been out there. They love them. They're just not good, and they probably won't ever be good in the way they were in the 90s. Tennessee, that's different. That's different. They have a very capable head coach, of which Nebraska does now too, by the way. But they are surrounded by sharks, Tennessee. They are surrounded by sharks. I don't know if they are going to be able to get out of that. Georgia's biggest folly has been themselves for such a long time. Now that Georgia's gotten it together, what David's saying, they've taken a hold of college football, they've done an unbelievable job. It's not without work. So don't confuse what I'm saying with, he just thinks they should do. You just snap your hand and, this just happens. No, it doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. I read where Kirby, there are certain things he says sometimes, and I think he just says them. He doesn't really mean it. When he says there was luck involved against Missouri or Ohio State, bro, listen, there wasn't luck. There wasn't luck. You were there, I was there. There was no luck. I mean, there was no part of the Ohio State game. I'm not going to get too ranted up about this. There was no part of the Ohio State game where Georgia was fortunate to win. There was no play. There was no, Brock Bowers catching against Florida kind of thing. That wasn't luck either, by the way. And this is coming from someone who does not believe in luck, so take that for what it's worth. There is preparation. There's nothing about Kirby Smart and company at Georgia that ain't about preparation. They don't get nervous, y'all. I see them. I see them before they come out on the field. I see them in warm-ups. I see them on the field. I see them when they come out, when they get scored on. When they got scored on against Tennessee, I think they were losing 14-10 or something like that. They were laughing in 2019. They were giggling about it. They thought it was fun. They were actually being challenged. I was there. I saw it. There was no luck about 2022. They planned it. Were they... which part was lucky? I want to ask Kirby. Seriously, he's never available to us. But okay. It's like, if you were just sitting here chilling, whatever. What was lucky about that, man? There was nothing lucky about that. The Ohio State tried to fake a punt. Georgia called a timeout. You called a timeout, man. What about the kick? I guess you're talking. I think maybe I will allow him talking about the kick, about the final kick of the game. But they were not. They were lucky that they were in position. You talk about luck. They were lucky they were in position to kick that ball. If Stetson properly runs the clock there, Ohio State doesn't even have a chance to go down the field. Okay, we're talking about luck. So even that's not luck though. But if that ball is kicked straight, Darius Smith blocks it. I have been through this a million times. None of this is luck. That's colloquial. He probably doesn't even mean when he says it. He used to say, and I would say this too, why not us? It should be you. You don't coach. He doesn't coach like that. He may talk like that because as human beings, we talk like that occasionally. I mean, but there was no luck involved in Georgia's national championship in 2021. It wasn't there. There was no luck. I'm trying to remember. Someone would have to tell me they earned going undefeated in 2021 to be in position that the SEC championship game, quote, didn't matter. The same thing was the case in 2022. There is no luck. I used to believe in luck. I don't. It doesn't exist. There's no luck. If luck existed, Andrew Luck would be playing in the NFL still. If luck existed, Florida would have made the catch again, or would have caught Lindsey Scott, or there is no old lady luck. That's a myth. It's not a real thing. What works? What works is getting your ass out there and grinding that out in recruiting, developing players, being ready for the moment, and winning. There is no luck. They have taken a hold of college football. Well, it's not by luck. It's by Kirby, and Kirby is doing his best to water down their achievements. And I am not falling for it, man. No, you're wrong. It's not luck. Now, I know you just said it. You were talking. It's not luck, man. It's totally, they prepared for it, and they took it. They took it from Ohio State. They didn't quit like the Boston Celtics or, your mother-in-law trying to learn how to cook. They took it. They took it from Ohio State. They won that game because they should have won it. They won it because they earned it. Same thing with the Missouri game. Was it luck that Malachi Starks ran down the running back, or was that effort? You know the answer to that.